Hi everyone, I'm FMGreeno. Welcome to episode 35 of the Greeno Tour. This is my FM21 European journeyman, where I can only manage teams I've seen play live or have been to the stadium for some reason. This is the beginning of the 2025-26 season, and unbelievably, we have just taken Luton into the Premier League. First game today, against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of course, the best thing for us to do is to start looking at our business all over the summer. So we'll start with the transfers. Declan Glass left the club. He has gone to Reading. He was very unhappy that I wouldn't make him a star player and basically double his salary. It just wasn't going to happen. He's not that good a player. So we got about £6.5 million for him. He's gone off to the Championship to play for Reading. Good luck to him. Before it ticked over into the new season, we managed to bring in 3 players ourselves. Harvey Squires has come in on a free transfer from Liverpool. First to play as a defensive midfielder, but I think he's going to be a centre-half. He's got a little bit of work to do on his heading, but his jumping reach is great. He's got pretty good physicals, decent mentals, teamwork, anticipation are good, marking and tackling are good. Like I said, just like to work on that heading a little bit, and I think he'll be a decent centre-back for us. He's certainly probably going to be, as things stand, our first backup. You'll see how he kind of fits into the squad a little bit later on. We also brought in Aaron Hickey, who's a fullback. The great thing about him is he can play on both sides. He's actually either-footed as well. So he prefers to play as a left-back, but is equally as comfortable playing as a right-back. And you don't have to play him as an inverted wing-back or anything like that. So I think he's going to be a really, really useful signing for us. We picked him up for £6 million from Celtic. He's already valued at 13.5. He's a star player for us. Doesn't really mean an awful lot, to be honest, but yeah, his versatility is going to come in really, really handy, I think. Another name, someone that you guys will probably recognise, Reiss Nelson, ex-Arsenal, of course. He'd been up at Celtic as well. Picked him up for about the same sort of money, just under £6 million, I think. Again, already valued over 13 million. And another player who's versatile. So he can play on the left wing, he can play on the right wing. If we drop him into a slightly deeper role, equally as accomplished there. So I think, again, that versatility and some big match experience. He's been at clubs like Hoffenheim, West Ham, Frankfurt, Arsenal, Celtic. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for us. So then the end of season ticked over and we've brought in some more. Also let a few go out. So Joe Morel, he has gone to Galatasaray. Again, the player just wasn't worth what we were paying him. So he was already our highest earner at the club last season, and in his contract he had a 30% pay rise for going up to the Premier League. So he was on something like 35 grand a week, and not even guaranteed to be on the bench for us, I didn't think. So we let him go, probably for a lot less money than he was actually worth. I think we got about, what did we get, 3 or 4 million for him? Yeah, going up to about £4 million. A fairly promising youngster, Lee Jonas, has moved on to Hull. I quite liked him. He just didn't really seem to have enough growth in him over last season. And coming to 21 years old already, I just didn't see he was going to be a good enough player to step up into our first team at any time in the near future. So we just cashed in and took the money. We sent a bunch of people out on loan. Again, the board refused to give us an under-23 squad, which is absolutely bonkers, particularly now that we have Papa John's Trophy that we got to play in. So we've got to now hire under 23 staff anyway, because we've got 3 games in that competition, but no other games. Utterly ludicrous. Other players we've brought in though, and we've got some real gems here for not very much money. So we look at Aaron Ikeda. He has come in from Boca Juniors. He's an 18-year-old striker, advanced forward, which I always like to play with. Again, you can see there's an awful lot of holes in his game, but all the key places where I like decent attributes, he's got them. So pace of 16, acceleration 15, agility 16. Decent physical stats there. His mentals are so-so. But again, finishing 17 here. Dribbling's 13, technique 13. That's not bad. I think he's good enough to do a job for us in the Premier League. Whether I want him to be our first choice striker or not remains to be seen. But as things stand, he is. Also, Alex Shenton has come in from Milton Keynes Dons, 20 years of age. We paid about 130 grand for him, I think. Again, great physicals for a youngster. He's only little, only 171 centimetres, so what's that, about 5'7", 5'8"? And not exactly a giant, but decent technicals, decent mentals, his work rate is great. So again, I think he's going to be a decent player in and around the first team squad this season. And Paul Zavalos has just come in recently, a Peruvian 18-year-old, already capped by their national team. Good player here, look, 5-star ability potentially. Now look at his mentals for an 18-year-old kid. Teamwork 19, work rate 16, decisions, anticipation. This kid has got it all in the mental side. Also in the technical side, he's not bad. Passing of 16, first touches 16. He wants to play as a deep line playmaker, and I think that's a really good role for him to have. He's actually probably going to start for us this season, I think. Like I say, his physicals need some work, but he's only 18. Those are going to improve over time. So we really like the look of him. I think we've done some good business over the summer, and maybe still more to come too. So overall, how does that transfer business leave our squad looking? In fairly good shape, I think. So in goal, Max O'Leary is still our first choice goalkeeper. Ainsley Pears and Mark Travers will be back up. Left back, we've got 3 good options. So Barrington Brown is back on loan from Man United. You'll remember we got that deal tied up before we lost our affiliation with them. So we've actually got him back and we're not paying a penny for him, which is great. Aaron Hickey and Reece Devine also. So 3 really strong options at left back. Centre half, Kumetio continues to impress. He's going to be our first choice. Tom Lockyer is going to start, I think. Harvey Squires as a backup. Jameson is not quite ready. I'd like to bring in one more in centre half, to be honest, so that we're not relying on Squires or Jameson too much. Right back, Hickey is the best option we've got, so he's probably going to play there. Reece Devine, I think, is going to start at left back. But we do have Harvey Squires who can play that, a kid who came in from Liverpool. One of our backup centre halves can play at right back. And we've still got James Bree at the club, so that's good. I think we're going to have to set up using a defensive midfielder in the Premier League. I know towards the end of last season we were playing with an attacking midfielder, but I think that's going to leave us just too exposed against the better quality sides that we're going to be facing. That's why you've brought Paul Zavalos in. I think him sitting in front of the back 4 in that deep line playmaker role could be really useful for us. We do have other good options here. Dewsbury Hall we used there quite a lot last season, so I think that's an area we're pretty well stacked up. And in central midfield, again, Dewsbury Hall, Zhang Likun, Shenton, the youngster we brought in from MK Dons. And we've still got Mpanzu kicking around and young Bowery. I think we're looking pretty good in central midfield for what we need. The wide areas, again, I don't see us having any real problems. Barrington Brown is our best attacking left midfielder, so he's going to play there, which means we're using all of our 3 best left-back options. But of course, in-game, if we get any problem at left-back, one of the others will just drop in and we bring someone else on. Not a problem. Zhang Likun can play out on the left, but we're going to use him in the middle. Reece Nelson, Connor Mahoney. Again, Nelson, Shenton, Mahoney on the right-hand side. And we got those 2 young Portuguese lads that we brought in last season as well as backup. So we're pretty good there too. Up front is the area where I'm a little bit concerned we're a bit too thin. So Ikeda, the youngster that came in from Boca, he's going to be our starter. Then we got Glatzel, who last season wasn't even good enough to be in the squad. We sent him out on loan to Dundee United. He's come back and is our second best striker. Ken Bowery linked as our 3rd best striker here. Now he's not even a striker. He plays as a defensive midfielder generally. James Collins is just too old. Unfortunately, he's on too much money and I can't get him moved out of the club yet. So that's a work in progress. So definitely a striker is top priority, followed by a centre half. And other than that, I think it's about as good as we're going to get. Taking a look at the club finances, we do still have some room to make those couple of signings that we need. So our wage budget is 470,000 and we're about 100 grand underneath that at the moment. So plenty of space in the wage budget. Plus we've still got nearly, well, just over £23 million in the kitty. So, I mean, that's got to be enough to buy players at the sort of level that we need and will come to us. That's been one of the struggles over the summer. A lot of players that we've wanted to bring in have moved on to championship clubs. Just weren't interested in coming and playing for us. Now, if we take a look at the Premier League, obviously all the big guys are in here that you would expect. Season preview. Now, you're not going to see Luton, I don't think, because it'll be behind my head. But believe me when I say we are 20th position, 2,000 to 1 to win the league. Now, 19th position is Aston Villa at 400 to 1. So we are absolute, nailed on, dead certain favourites to go down, according to the bookies. We have Leeds just above us, Norwich at 300 to 1, West Ham, you can just see sneaking onto the screen here, 250 to 1. So, essentially, we're expected to be whipping boys all season long. My team, Bournemouth, up here at 100 to 1 in 11th. And interestingly enough, they approached us over the summer for an interview. Now, there is a rule in the save that I cannot apply for any jobs in the country that I'm already working in. So, for me to move on from now, having moved into the Premier League, the opportunities are going to be fairly few and far between. There's only so many clubs kind of bigger than bottom end of the Premier League teams in other countries that I could apply for. But of course, if anyone approaches me from an English job, I can go and talk to them. Bournemouth approached me, didn't offer me the job, gave it to some Danish bloke. So there we are. If we look at the Media Dream 11, clearly none of our players are in that. And you look at the key players here, Haaland, Kane, Mount, Ederson, De Jong, Rashford's in there. And you keep scrolling down, and Alisson's in there, and Fabio Silva, and any Luton players anywhere? 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 Oh yeah, right down the bottom. So our two best players, apparently, Reece Nelson and Barrington Brown, and they are considered the two worst out of all the key players in the Premier League. Could be a long season ahead. On a positive note, though, Preseason has gone very, very well. Now, initially, we didn't play that many great teams. We beat Partick Thistle, we beat Exeter. Man United came to our place. That was part of the deal that we had with our affiliation before, so they honoured that friendly. Came down and beat us 3-0. Thanks a lot for that. We then travelled to Ipswich, got a 4-0 win. And a local non-league team, Hitchin. This was a decent result. We beat Feyenoord 2-0. Pretty happy with that. Followed that up against the French side. Beat them 1-0. Travelled to Newport County, beat them 3-0. And probably the best result of the lot so far, West Ham, who, if you remember, ran away with the championship last season. They came for Mpunzu's testimonial game, and we beat them 2-0. And very comfortably too. So we're going into a game against Wolves today. They're a decent side. They have got a lot of quality in their squad. So it could be a backs against the wall kind of thing. But let's go and see how we're set up for the game. So we are setting up with that slightly more defensive 4-3-3 formation I mentioned. It was a bit of a toss-up between Lockyer and Squires to start at this centre-half position. But I just felt, because there's already an existing good relationship between Kumetio and Lockyer from last season, I think that might be important in these early games in the Premier League. Hickey is going to start at right back, Devine at left back, and Barrington Brown up on the left-hand side, as I talked about. Zevallos is going to start in the middle of midfield. Dewsbury Hall and Zhang Likun in central midfield there. Reece Nelson starts on right midfield. We have got Connor Mahoney on the bench. You remember he got a load of assists last season. He's a bit of a dead ball specialist, so could come in useful later in the game. And the new signing, Ikeda, up front. So I quite like the setup of the team. Like I say, a couple more I'd like to add, but we'll see how that goes. A few more weeks of the transfer window left. On the bench today, we have got Travers, Bree, Squires, new signing Alex Shenton, Mpanzu, Connor Mahoney, and Paul Glatzel. Let's head off to the stadium. Wish me luck. So here it is, the first sight of Premier League football at the Power Court. Not expecting a great deal out of the game, to be honest. As you can see here, the Wolves team has got some very, very strong players in it. In fact, some names you won't recognise. This Grice at centre-half, 20 years old, already an international for England, valued at 56 million quid. So that's the kind of thing we're up against, I think, this season. And Wolves are not a team you would expect to be challenging at the top of the league necessarily. We're going to have our work cut out, I think. Eze with a good shot there, goes just wide. So, not the worst start of the game. We're nearly 15 minutes in and not conceded yet, so taking the positives. We're yet to trouble their goalkeeper in any shape or form. But let's see if we can do that now. Highlight starts with us, but we've lost the ball though, unfortunately. And Wolves are building something from the back here. Knocking it around in midfield. Find a good ball out to Quincy Promes on the left-hand side. He brings it back to Kiana Herver. Good ball to Promes. Oh, just wide. I don't think our keeper had that covered, do you? So here we can see, oh, you just missed it. In the league table, we currently show as 8th. Because it's 20 minutes into the first game. So, yeah, 7th. Even better. Look at that. We're 7th in the league. I don't imagine we're going to be higher than that at any point this season at all. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, 35 minutes in. Like I say, we've not really been doing much to trouble the opposition as yet. But I'm happy enough with this, given the quality that they've got. Oh, here we go. Oh, just before half time. A decent ball in. Reece Nelson marking someone, was he? Yeah, that's one thing we are lacking a little bit in our side is height. Yeah, there's not much the keeper or the guy close to the line could have done about that. So we do go a goal down just before half time. There we are. We're 18th in the league now. That's where you're going to find us most of the year, I think. Okay, so we need to get in and motivate these guys a little bit. The keeper's anxious. Everyone else is composed or motivated. I think we're going to put our hands together and tell them that wasn't as good enough in the first half. Well, it doesn't really done a huge amount. But come on, let's motivate everybody. You weren't that bad. You can still improve. I have faith in you. I don't think we're going to get any response out of Aaron Akeda because I don't think he speaks English yet. So, and I don't speak Spanish. So maybe we'll have to see if we can borrow an interpreter from somewhere. So what's going on here? Reece Nelson is not having a good game. He's on a 6.1. This is very true. He is not having a good game. Not many of our players are, though. Divine's having a bit of a poor game at left back. Oh, is that offside? No, it isn't. Oh, we shouldn't be conceding goals like that. Where was the marking? Let's have a look at this. Just let him stroll on through. I think that was Kumetio who was supposed to be picking him up there. Is it? Yeah, Kumetio. Just lets him run past him. Very poor. Very poor. Right, so we're up against it now. So, time to make a couple of changes, maybe even in formation. I'll be back in a moment. So, a couple of changes made. Shenton has come on in midfield. Just needed to shake things up a little bit. So we've moved Likun up into an attacking midfielder role, which is hopefully going to pay some dividends. Oh, here's Ikeda. Is he through? Has he got enough pace? Oh, he's fluffed it. Knocked it wide. Good opportunity, that. We've brought Mahoney on the right-hand side. Reece Nelson was having an absolute stinker. He'd gone down to a 5.9, which is really horrible. So let's move up to an attacking formation here. We're going to demand more out of the boys. Brown is tired. I think we might leave him out there. Don't really have another option to go over to that left-hand side so much. We're not really offering anything though, are we? What else can we do to affect things here? Maybe we will take him out. Do we have anyone who can play there? Glatzel can come on and play on the right-hand side, I suppose, and we swap Mahoney over there. And there we go. Just a couple of minutes left. We're going to go very attacking. It's not going to do anything. And it looks like this is the shape of things to come for this season, by the looks of it. We have gone down 2-0 at home to a very strong Wolves team. Well, they're not going to be any easy games at this level, I don't suppose. That game has just proved that. We have West Brom coming up in the Carabao Cup. They're down in the league below us again in the Championship, so hopefully we can get a result out of that. Followed that by a away trip to Leeds, Bournemouth and Arsenal at home, Everton away. I think where we're going to come back next, we'll do the trip to Old Trafford. We're not going to get too many of them. So we're going to play Manchester United. We may even do a double header. Manchester United away, Aston Villa at home. The transfer window would have closed by then. We'll have our squad settled, at least up until January. Be a good time to come back and see where we're at. Man United are probably going to batter us, but at least Aston Villa, there's half a chance we might be in with doing something okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I think we've improved the squad over the summer. Just remains to be seen whether we've improved it enough to be competitive. If you did enjoy it, drop a like on there for me, please. It helps me get seen by more people. And of course, if you've got any comments about this episode, the business we've done over the summer, how you think we're going to do this season, I would love to see that in the comment section below. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hop on the Greenobus. There's plenty of room for you all. It just remains for me to thank you for watching, and I will see you soon for some more action with Luton Town. Bye for now.